Hi guys, thank you for joining me today. My name is Megan and today I have a book review of Shadow and Bone. Now, I just read this like 2 days ago and I freaking love it. So the basics for A Shadow and Bone are that there's a war going on, and there's been a war going on for years and hundreds of years almost. And our story is set around Alina Starkov, and she was an orphan in her early life, and she grew up in an orphanage with her best friend Mal, and together they go off and join the army. And so one day their unit get called to the Fold, which is basically a living shadow has taken over the middle of their country, and it split the country in two. And so there's these creatures that are creepy and they eat human beings. And they live in this and they can't stand sunlight. And so their unit gets called to go in the Fold and travel to the other side. And along the way, of course, these creatures come after them, and Alina somehow calls the sun to her. That basically starts a whole journey of her going to the capital and learning how to use her powers and meeting the Darkling, who is a Grisha, which is this world's term for a witch. And he is the most powerful Grisha ever, and he controls shadows. And Alina learns how to use her powers, and she learns of some very, very dark things that people want to use her for. So Alina's perspective on the world is very interesting, as she grew up in an orphanage and she knows how things were growing up for her, and she was in the army and seeing all the lavish parties and all of these things that normal people don't have access to in her world. It's very interesting, and I think one of the other things that I really loved about this book is that you can see all the cracks forming throughout the book. So there's civil unrest in the armies, there's dissent, there's talk of treason, and all of these little cracks and fissures in this whole facade of this government, and it all comes to a boil and rages into an fiery inferno, and there's a civil war that's brewing. And it's interesting how just one event can trigger a huge civil war and break this country apart. So I really loved this book. I read it in maybe 3 sittings, and Leigh Bardugo is quickly becoming one of my absolute favorite authors. And this book I gave a solid 5 out of 5 stars, and it's simply amazing. So if you guys have read Six of Crows and you haven't read this series yet, you really should. There's a lot of crossover characters, and it's kind of interesting to see where the crossover characters in Six of Crows got their start in this series, and this gives you a lot of backstory for Six of Crows too. Alright, that's all I've got for you guys today. Thank you for joining me, and if you guys like this video, go ahead and hit the like button, and if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down here. You can also hit the notification button to get notifications whenever I post. And if you guys would like, you can follow me on Instagram and Goodreads. I post book reviews a couple of times a week on both. And if you guys have read Shadow and Bone, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Alrighty, bye!